Please join me as we welcome to the stage Dr. Michael Nugent. Dr. Michael Nugent is a professor at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. He is the coordinator of praxis, advising, and special projects for the Department of Education at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. His primary job responsibility is to coordinate various programs designed to enhance the success of first-generation underrepresented students. He also teaches teacher education majors in American history. He has a doctorate degree in organizational leadership from UMES. He also holds master's degrees from St. John's University, undergraduate degree from Marist College. He lives in Pocomoke City with his wife, and 3 sons of his are graduates of Pocomoke High School. His oldest son currently attends UMES. Dr. Nugent is very excited about his role as moderator. He has gone to great lengths to inform himself about the various issues that are affecting the city of Crisfield, and which many of you have come here to hear about. And at this stage, I'd like to introduce him, and Dr. Nugent will explain tonight the procedure for the candidates forum. Thank you.
I did come down this past weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I did talk to a lot of people. I walked around and I looked at the beautiful community, and I've had to develop questions. I asked many people questions in order to write questions, and I come up with a list of about 8 or 9 questions. We're not going to get to 8 or 9 tonight, simply because we don't have enough time. I'm going to ask that each candidate be given 1 minute and 30 seconds. I'm going to pick a candidate randomly. They're going to have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer the question. At the 1 minute mark, I'm going to give my hand rise to Jack in the first row. He's going to raise a yellow card, so the candidates know they have 30 seconds left to respond. They're going to raise a red card at the end of that time, and their time is finished. We're going to keep it to 1.5 minutes each, because if we go through this large number, that would mean we'd only come up with approximately 4 questions, but we'll give everyone a chance. You've also been given an opportunity, or you will be given an opportunity to develop your own questions. Those questions will be collected during the night and be put in a fishbowl. I will draw a card randomly and I'll read the question if it's appropriate. If it's not appropriate, then I'm going to censor it. All right? So you try to keep it clean, keep it above board, and we'll do our best to make sure that your questions are asked. And everyone will have a chance to respond to that question. They'll have 1 minute to respond, to give you an opportunity to have more questions answered. All right? It's kind of, the process works as long as people vote. The process started in 1607 in Jamestown, when people came forth and they were voting took place. Well, the process is down to a science now, and we're going to give everyone a chance to have their voice tonight by writing a question, and next week you have your voice when you pick these candidates. Or don't pick these candidates. If any questions from the audience before I begin, I'd like to thank John for having us tonight, giving us an opportunity. Thank you. I'm not going to pick any questions in order. I'm just going to ask a question randomly. That person will answer the question. I do have a timer. The timer will start. Perhaps. So we'll start. At the end of 1 minute and 30 seconds, it will be. We hope it'll be over by that time. I'd like to start, if it's all right, with James Lane. Okay? The question is, and the clock is ticking, what would you do to attract new businesses to Crisfield?
To attract new businesses to Crisfield, it would be necessary to take a consensus of the citizens of what they see are the important job opportunities in the community. There should also be an assessment of the skills and the abilities of the people that live here and what they deem is important enough in terms of job creation. One element about job creation that is often overlooked is the fact that we often look inwardly rather than looking outwardly. I think there has been many citizens that are formerly of Crisfield who have accomplished lives and have opportunities available for Crisfield if we only ask them. At this point, I don't think we've asked them to share with us some of their networks and some of their abilities and the people that they have met over the years that could impact the job situation in Crisfield. I certainly would hope that we would consider as well our elderly population who are experienced, who have accomplished lives, who have often worked across the gamut in terms of jobs, and they are professionals in the very sense of the word. They are an untapped resource in terms of ideas and in terms of networks that they have established through their lives over the years that could be brought to bear in creating jobs as well. Thank you. I think the question is, that was asked is, what would we do to create or provide a facility that we would have to pay for? I'll address that first. I don't think we need to pay for a facility. We have the physical building here already, which is the Salvation Army. I think what has happened, the Salvation Army has not been given the opportunity to utilize and to expand that space so that it can accommodate all of the child play, all of the different types of diverse sports programming that could occur. And we need to look at that facility. Why reinvent the wheel? The wheel is already there. It just hasn't been given the opportunity to express itself. Recreation comes in different guises. We often talk about children, but the children also have parents who need physical exercise and outlets for recreation. And often they are overlooked in the equation. There are families who are sending their children to school who are not in their elderly age, but they need a sportsplex or a recreational facility. Also, there needs to be a year-round indoor facility. That we're talking about money, but then again, we already have the building. The building is there, and we need to utilize it. Thank you.
What do you suggest be done to increase the number of owner-occupied homes in Crisfield? P.J. Purnell, can we start with you?
The administration prior to ours instituted a program with Homes for America. We've been back to Homes for America a couple of times. During these economic times, they've had a hard road to hoe to be able to put together another housing project of that type. The other area that we've looked at strongly is for the city to actually hire contractors and look at building small houses ourselves, and in turn qualifying people to use them and to live in them. Qualifying for a house is somewhat difficult. I remember when Homes for America were done, the qualifying level was $29,000 a year, and it took something like 2 years to get like 6 families that qualified to go in there. It's going to have to take investment. It's going to have to take investment in the city. We've done a lot of work in the housing market with the state of Maryland as far as getting grants for rehabilitating houses. And in some situations, we've done it where we've even gotten folks 1% to 2% interest loans to build new houses. It's an area that definitely government should be involved in, and we've worked around it with the state a number of times. It is difficult, and it's a tough program because you can't, much as you'd like to, you just can't put people in houses.
Thank you. Could you give it Mr. Lane? Same question.
To increase housing, I think what we need to do first is to address the issue of derelict and abandoned properties that are in neighborhoods that traditionally were very vibrant and were already revitalized because the people cared about those properties. Most of the areas in Crisfield that are available for development or redevelopment in terms of housing are those properties that are not in the hands of the neighborhoods. Those properties are owned by other lessees or other tenants, and their caring for that neighborhood or for that property often causes that neighborhood to look in a very disrepaired way. But there are possibilities for increasing housing in neighborhoods. There needs to be more partnering, collaboration with national organizations who are involved and concerned about traditional neighborhood development. And those companies can come in, even in tandem with our strategic revitalization program, which pointed out that one of the attractive elements about our communities is small, tight-knit, and vibrant neighborhoods that it used to have. So those properties that are just sitting idle, if we bring in a redevelopment element of putting homes for purchase and for neighborhood development, that would address, I think, the housing deficit as well.
Thank you.